Hey everyone, this is your girl Sharifa, aka Shree, and welcome to the I'm Good podcast, or in better words, the I Feel Good podcast. If you are new here, welcome to the family. This is a podcast where I explore topics on mental health, physical health, nutrition, and everything in between. So if you're trying to get right and stay right mentally, this is definitely the place you want to be. And wait, before I begin, here's some quick info. Why did I name this podcast I'm Good? Simple. Because as people, from a cultural standpoint, whether we are down or happy, our favorite response to friends, families, or strangers is I'm good, even if we're not. It's completely normal not to feel happy all the time, but in the midst of whatever you go through, the saying I'm good can elaborate to so many different meanings. So yes, this is the place to be, whether you are down, happy, excited, and everything in between. I'm here to dish out knowledge, talk about current topics, and of course, lift you up. So feel free to go ahead and subscribe, share this podcast, leave a review, and tell a friend. Now let's go ahead and get started on today's show. Hey guys, if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. And let me explain to you really quick. First of all, for starters, it's free. Yes, I said it's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And I know most of you guys have a phone or computer, so it's so easy. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So make sure you download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hey everybody, welcome back to the I'm Good podcast. If you are new here, what's good? What's poppin'? Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you stay here. Listen, y'all, thank you. For my returning listeners, to my I'm Good fam, what's good, what's poppin'? Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. You guys are some true, real ones. Like I said, my I'm Good fam, like we be rocking, like y'all, we be rocking. Like y'all be rocking with the podcast, y'all be rocking with your girl, y'all be rocking with the information. But as I always like to say, I always like to express gratitude. So I just want to say thank you to anyone who is listening to this podcast. I don't care what device you're listening to it on or what platform. I want to thank you so much for tuning into the I'm Good podcast. And like I said, if you are a listener that listens to these podcast episodes each week, thank you so much for supporting the podcast. Thank you so much for supporting the journey. Listen, it's going to get bigger and better, mark my words. So thank you to everyone who has tuned in and who is currently tuning in right now. This podcast is sponsored by www.allthingsshree.com. So make sure you head over to www.allthingsshree.com and go ahead and check out the apparel and the phone accessories on the website. And today's your lucky day because I have a special promo code. Use promo code I'mGoodFam at checkout to get 10% off your entire order. Once again, use promo code I'mGoodFam at checkout to get 10% off your entire order. That's an exclusive discount to all of my beautiful I'm Good fam listeners. So yes, y'all, make sure you go ahead and check out www.allthingsshree.com and use your special promo code I'mGoodFam. Also, too, if you are listening to this on an Apple device, whatever it may be, make sure you guys go ahead and leave a rating and review. It literally takes seconds. Maybe it'll take a minute if you're already signed into your Apple ID account. Make sure you guys go ahead and leave a rating and review to this on this podcast, for this podcast, I should say. And if you're using another platform where you can rate it or review it, go ahead and do that too. How about this? Whatever platform that you're using, if there is a method to rate and review, make sure you guys go ahead and leave a rating and review. But also with Apple Podcasts, which is probably, I'm going to say maybe the number one. I don't know if I want to say number one, but I know it's like the main place for people, to have podcasts. But with leaving a rating and review on there helps this podcast to grow more and helps even more listeners, to get this quality content that I bring to you guys each week. So make sure you guys go ahead and do that. Also, too, thank you so much to everyone who has checked out our midweek roll call. If you are not familiar with it, make sure you guys go ahead and check out the episode right below this. So if you're listening to this podcast episode, after you're done checking out, if you look at the podcast right below this, you will see the link for the midweek roll call, period. Like I said, those episodes are less than a minute, if that. So make sure you guys go ahead and check that out. And yes, I'm not going to tell you guys what it is. I know sometimes I'll tell my listeners what the midweek roll call is, but for my new listeners, I want you guys to go ahead and check it out. And my current listeners already know what it is and what it is about. So make sure you guys go ahead and check that out. And thank you, like I said, once again, for everyone who has tuned in and listened to each of those episodes each week. Listen, it's on and popping, and that's on period. All right. So on today's episode, I wanted to get back into, I know I had a previous episode. I know it was one of our earlier episodes, and it was about self-confidence. I always like to discuss this topic of self-confidence, self-esteem, because I think it's overall beneficial for anyone, man or woman. I think a lot of times we hear more so from women, because as women, we are more open about talking about, dealing with, low self-esteem or lack of confidence here or there. And there are different degrees and levels of having low self-esteem. And there are different degrees and levels of having, low confidence. So, there's no one shoe fits all. So just because someone may say they have low self-esteem, you may look at them like, but you don't. You're able to walk into rooms and do this and that. But low self-esteem is different for everyone. So don't look at it as in like, if you have low self-esteem or low confidence, it just means one shoe fits all. Not everyone, but some people deal with it at different levels. So the beautiful thing about this podcast, and the reason why I like to come to you guys, is that, none of us are perfect. So there's always things that we can work on. So even the most confident person may still need some assistance in the area of, working on their confidence or their overall self-esteem. We all need help. At some point in our lives, if it's right now, whatever it may be, we all need help. None of us are exempt from needing help. I'm going to just put it like that. And, sometimes some people may not think they need help, but the truth is the people who think they may not need help are probably the people that actually really, really need help. So don't be afraid, to look up information about self-confidence, self-esteem, self-awareness, whatever it may be. It's okay to look up that stuff. That information is there to help you, whatever it may be. If you have to Google it, Pinterest it, whatever it may be, it's okay to look up videos, YouTube it, figure out what can I do to help myself, because sometimes it is hard, to find someone to talk to or just to be comfortable talking to someone, whether it be if you have a counselor, a therapist, your mother, your father, a sibling, a friend. Sometimes it is hard, to, talk about things that you feel uncomfortable with. But the beautiful thing about social media and just the internet itself is that, and even this podcast, is that, there's so much information out there, to help you. So on today's episode, I wanted to talk about ways to help build your self-confidence. Now, there are tons and tons and tons of ways out there. There are lots of ways, but honestly, it's so funny when I look at all the ways to help build self-confidence, a lot of it is kind of I will say it's practical. Like when I look at it, I'm like, well, that's pretty practical. So today I want to talk about practical ways on how to build self-confidence. So it really, sometimes they say it don't take all of that. Well, it doesn't take all of that. So I'm going to give you some practical steps on ways to build your self-confidence. Now, some of these might be some tips that you may not have thought about before. As I actually wrote down these tips, I was like, these are actually some really, really pretty good tips, because I think a lot of times we think of the external ways of how to build self-confidence, but I kind of want to get more into the internal ways, things that you can do internally so that you can build your self-confidence. So there are things that you can do externally, change your clothes, change your outfit, do your hair. Those are more external. But what can you do internally to help build your self-confidence? So yes, y'all. So that's what I'm going to be talking about on today's episode. So the first one on my list is you want to be okay with receiving feedback. And what do I mean? So one thing with confidence is that a lot of times if you are lacking confidence in an area or whatever it may be, it might be something that someone else may see in you. They may say like, hey, I see that you're lacking confidence in this area. Do you need help with this area? Whatever it may be. Be okay with getting feedback. Be okay from listening to family, friends, whoever it may be, coworker. Not everyone, I'm going to be honest with you guys, and I think a lot of people don't understand this. Not everyone is out there to get you, to make you look bad, and to put you down. Be okay with getting feedback. Like, one thing that I had to learn as I've grown over these years is that, feedback or whatever it may be is not always bad. Sometimes you need that in order to grow. The thing that stumps your growth is that if someone gives you feedback about maybe something that you're doing, the way you're acting, whatever it may be, or just like your overall confidence, whatever, what stumps your growth is when you take that and you make it a negative. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some people, and you can read energies, that will say and do stuff to you, to bring out a negative energy. But if you know that someone is honestly speaking to you in a way where it's not coming from a negative heart, then be open-minded. Seek out the truth. Seek out what is it that you feel like, you need to change in order for you to build your confidence. Because that's also, people don't understand, that has a lot to do with self-esteem and self-confidence, is that a lot of times we lack self-esteem. We have low self-esteem or low confidence because we keep repeatedly doing things, or we keep having patterns of doing something that's doing more harm to ourselves than good. And that thing internally, whatever it may be, is causing us to have a lack of self-confidence. So the first one on my list is be okay with getting feedback. Not all feedback is meant to be negative or hurt you, especially, I will say, if it's from people who generally care about you. Now, on the opposite end or the spectrum is that it is sometimes hard, to get feedback from people if they tell you about yourself, especially if you're already dealing with low self-esteem or low confidence. And I get that. So that can be kind of a weird balance. But, this purpose of this podcast and the purpose of what I do is to help you gravitate of having an open mind. And the reason why I do this podcast is to help you grow. So if you want to grow, and I believe you want to grow, because I don't think you would be listening to this podcast if you didn't want to grow, I can honestly say that my podcast listeners are, so let me put it like this. This podcast is not for everyone. This is not an entertainment podcast. It's not that. So if you're listening to this podcast, I know that there is something in you that wants to reach a higher level, or there's something in you where you're open to having an open mind to see like, okay, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can eat this. Maybe I can improve upon this. So that's one thing I know for sure, because most people are not just going to tap on this podcast episode and listen to episodes about refreshing or boosting your metabolism or how to be confident. That's not for everybody. But one thing that's special about you is that you're a unique individual, because by you listening to this podcast, you're saying, you know what, there are things maybe I need to work on. Maybe there are not things I need to work on, or just maybe I am open to understanding what else is out there that I can do to better my life. So the first one on my list is be okay with feedback. That honestly goes hand in hand with confidence. You have to be okay with feedback, because some things that you're doing is causing you to have low self-esteem, a lack of confidence, but you really won't understand this until you're okay with getting feedback from other people. And I'll be honest, like for me, when I was in college, I had a couple friends. Well, actually, this happened in high school and college. It started in high school, where I had a friend, and she told me, she stopped hanging around me. And I'm like, what's going on? And she told me, like, you're too negative. I'm like, I'm too negative. And honestly, maybe it's just me as an individual. I took that and I was like, yo, I need to change some things. Like, if this is my friend and she doesn't want to hang with me and she says that I'm negative, I know she's not saying this out of having a nasty heart or negative heart. She's trying to tell me, something that I might need to improve upon. So it was something that I improve upon. And then this happened again And my eyes had to open up again in college when I had a friend where she said to me, she stopped hanging with me. She said that I was too negative. Once again, this was someone who I called a friend, who I thought was a friend to me, and I didn't know she felt like that. So when she told me this information, I had to take a step back. I had to figure out, what am I doing in my life? What is going on? Like, am I all over the place? Am I whatever? And I was dealing with like a lack of confidence and a low self-esteem. What am I doing that's causing me, or what do I need to cut out of my life to cause me to stop being so negative? So that really helped me. And both people, both my friends that told me that, the one girl in college and then the one girl in high school, we still maintained our friendship, and we were friends after that because I took it with an open mind. I didn't take it and be like, you know what, I'm going to shut myself out, and you know what, you stay over there since you think I'm negative. No. Like I said, most people will come to you as a pure heart, especially if it's like a friend, family member, whoever it may be. 9 times out of 10, most people will come to you about yourself with a pure heart. So like I said, that's just one little secret in regards to self-confidence. I know it's not something that is talked about a lot, about how you should be okay with getting feedback from people. But honestly, that really does go hand in hand with help building your self-esteem and help building your overall confidence. The next one on my list is, I talk about this all the time, hence the midweek roll call or midweek affirmations. Affirmations are so powerful. Affirmations, and this is something like I told myself, I'm like, I have to write out more affirmations. So I currently have like affirmations for my business. I have an affirmation for nighttime, and I have affirmations for when I get up. And you can put these affirmations anywhere. Like you can put affirmations on a sticky note and put it on like your bathroom mirror. You can put it in your office. Your affirmations can go anywhere. They can go in your kitchen. I would say put them somewhere where it will affect you in a positive way. So if you feel like the first thing that you do is wake up and go to the mirror, put them at the mirror. And another great thing that you can do is, as you say these affirmations, another powerful measure is that you can speak these affirmations to yourself in the mirror. So not only just, speaking the affirmations and reading a piece of paper, try actually speaking these affirmations to yourself in the mirror. You can always Google self-confidence affirmations. You can Pinterest self-confidence affirmation. There's tons and tons of information out there. So even if it's like you write down 3 affirmations that you say to yourself, you can write down 3 affirmations that you will say to yourself every morning for the next 30 days that has to do with self-confidence. You will be amazed at how your life will change. Like affirmations. Listen, y'all, affirmations is literally speaking life into yourself. Let me repeat that. Affirmations is literally you speaking life over yourself. You're speaking life to yourself. And that's why they always say, be careful what you say. Be careful with your words. Be careful if you wish bad upon somebody, because words are powerful. Affirmations are so powerful. That's why we don't just wake up and say anything. We don't just wake up and say, oh, today gonna be a bad day, or today I'm gonna fail my test. No, we go into things and we say, you know what? Hopefully, a lot of times we'll say, hopefully today will be a good day, or I know I'm gonna pass my test. 9 times out of 10, most of us don't wake up with a negative mindset. But just think about if you really poured into yourself. Just really think about that. Look in the mirror right now and say an affirmation to yourself. And let's try this exercise. So go into a mirror. If you're driving, please don't do this. Look into a mirror and say to yourself, I am beautiful. Say it. Very good. All right. So I'm going to say it again with you guys. So look into the mirror and say, I am beautiful. For my fellas, you can say I am handsome. So you can say I am handsome. For my females or whatever it may be, say I am beautiful. Now looking at, and then, you may not feel it right now, especially if you have like a low self-esteem or lack of confidence. You may be like, but I'm telling you, as time goes on and you continue to practice these affirmations and say them out loud to yourself and to the mirror, you'll really start to you'll start to feel more beautiful. People will start to see that your spirit has been uplifted. Like, you'll be amazed. And also too, this kind of came, me talking about affirmations and speaking them in the mirror, is that this kind of came from, I had watched a podcast interview called Drink Champs with Noriega. And it was with Cameron. Like, for me, Cameron, Dipset, that whole squad back in the day, listen, I rock with them. I don't know what it was, but I used to love me some Cameron. And I still do. But what really, really, really makes me like Cameron in regards to his demeanor is his confidence. Like, and if you don't know who Cameron is a rapper. He was born in Harlem. He has songs such as like, oh my gosh, I know he has songs with Jewel Santana, like, oh boy, boy, boy. I'm trying to think of some other songs with Cameron, like, hey mom, what's up? That's one of his songs. Let's ride, cause we gonna get it on tonight. That was one of his songs. But one thing that has always attracted me to Cameron's personality, or just his whole demeanor, was his confidence. His confidence, to me, is A1. So in this interview, which I thought was kind of interesting, was that the guy that was interviewing him is Nori. Nah, I don't know his name. Nori, whatever. He's a rapper too, based in this city, New York City, whatever. And he asked Cameron, like, basically, like, have you always been this confident? And he was like, yeah. And basically, Cameron said that when he was a little boy, he used to speak positive, like, affirmations to himself in the mirror. And when he said that, I'm like, yo, ding, ding, ding. That's it right there. Like, if you Google this man and look at any of his interviews, and if you know who Cameron is, you already know what I'm talking about. Cameron confidence is A1, like A1. Along with him, another confident person to me is, and I don't agree with, their entire lifestyle, things like that, is Dame Dash. Confidence is A1. Like, I don't care what nobody says. Like, that's literally, their confidence level is completely A1. So Cameron literally said that since he was like 12 years old, since he was a young boy, he used to be in the mirror, like basically speaking affirmations and speaking greatness upon his life. And look at where he is at now. So I'm just saying, the importance of speaking power into your life, the importance of speaking prosperity, whatever it may be. If you're dealing with sadness, heartbreak, look up affirmations to feel love. Look up, if there's something that you're dealing with, look up the opposite of what you're dealing with and look for those affirmations. If you're dealing with low self-esteem or lack of confidence, look up affirmations to build your confidence. And like I said, you only need to really honestly pick 3 and do those 3 for maybe the next 7 days. For the next week, speak those affirmations to yourself every morning when you get up, or you can do them every night. But I would say every morning you get up and just watch how your life change. And like I said, Cameron's been doing that since he was 12. And now he is, I want to say, almost close to 50. And his confidence, A1. The next one on my list is to help you build confidence is that you need to honestly separate yourself from people who lack confidence. And I don't mean, like if your best friend, whatever it may be, or whoever it may be, if they have low self-esteem, you're like, oh, I can't hang around you because you have low self-esteem. No, but birds of a feather flock together. So if y'all 2 or whoever 3, 4, or 5, or 6, or 7 are not gathering each other up and help building each other up, then y'all all are at the same level and y'all gonna stay there. One of your friends is going to have, you need a friend, you need a family member, you need a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. You need someone that's going to be able to sit there and lift you up and help you, see what you're worth. I'm not saying that they should be praising you like, oh, bow down to you and bow down to this and that. I'm not saying that, but you need people there that are there to support you. So if you're hanging around people who have low self-esteem, a lack of confidence, what do you think is going to happen to you? Honestly, if you hanging with negative Nancy's and negative people, people who are not going nowhere in life, where do you think you're going to lead? I'm just being honest. Very rarely do you see a millionaire, if I've seen any, a millionaire hang with people who are not even close to millionaire status. And it's not so much money, but it's a mindset. It's a mindset. And for me, as I've grown over these years, I had to learn that. Like, I'm learning now. You have to separate yourself from people. It doesn't mean you got to be mean. It doesn't have to mean you got to do it nasty. But something that Eric Thomas has said, he's a motivational speaker on one of his albums, is that if you can't remove them, reposition them. And I had even listened to like a sermon with TD Jakes. He said you don't have to necessarily cut them off, but reposition them. Put them in a place, whatever it may be. Put them in a certain place in your life. You don't have to keep doing this and that with them, but reposition them. Okay. And I think we have to understand that energy is so important. So energy also goes hand in hand with confidence, self-esteem, all of the above. So if you know that your relationships are hindering you and you're around people that, who are already dealing with low self-esteem, lack of confidence, like I said, I'm not saying to run from them. If you have to be that friend to help boost their confidence, go ahead and do that. But also, too, it is hard to help boost someone else's confidence when yours is being dragged down. So remember that. So you want to hang around people that are going where you're going, or you also want to hang around people who are there. So if you know someone who is confident or who is basically at a level of where you want to be around them, hang around them. What are they doing differently? It's similar to, like I said, with Cameron. Cameron is a confident person. Like, Cameron is literally A1 confident. Like, his level of confidence is through the roof. And just listen to that interview with him saying that all he did was speak affirmations to himself. He probably did more. That right there, I'm like, okay, I know I want to boost my confidence even more. If this is what he did, maybe these are some things that I should implement in my life. So that's the third one on my list. Separate yourself from relationships with people who are not where you want to be or who are at a level and they're not growing. Basically, people that are not growing. The fourth one on my list has to do more with external. So this is something that is very important, and it's something I keep trying to tell myself to do because I have a bad habit of doing it. This has to do with posture. So this is more external. So this doesn't really necessarily have to do like with your overall internal well-being, but as you fix your posture, you'll notice that you'll become more confident. So when you step into a room or whatever it may be, or when you're walking, stand upright, shoulders back, head up. And I think oftentimes we walk, we'll slouch, we'll look at our phones, we won't make eye contact with people. But one of the most confident things that you can do is when you walk into a room, wherever you go, stand up straight, shoulders back a little bit, head straight forward. And just as you do that, just don't you just feel confident? Like literally, I'm doing that too. So put your head up, look straight, put your shoulders a little back and just feel your chest, your body lifting up. Don't you feel confident? And just think about that. Like some of the most confident people that I've known or see, they literally walk with that posture. And as you do that and continue to do that, people will be like, what's so different about her? What's so different about him? There's something there about that person. Like, what is it about that person, that's making them, seem so different? And a lot of times it could just be posture. They may not be confident, but alone right there, that says to someone else, hey, I am confident and I own myself and I own this room. So that's the fourth one on my list. And then the last one on my list, I know over the years, not everybody agrees with this quote, but the last one on my list is fake it till you make it. Like the posture thing. If you're not that confident, but you want to grow to become even more confident or build your self-esteem, practice the posture. Next time you go into a room, put your shoulders up, put them back, put your chest up, and look forward. Fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. I know as cliche as that sounds, and it's not really so much about faking it till you make it. Honestly, that's what it takes. That's what growth is. You're implementing different things in your life so that you can grow. You may not be fully there. You might be speaking affirmations to yourself and calling yourself beautiful, this and that. You may not feel like you're beautiful, but as you continue to say it, the universe will come back to you and you'll start to feel more beautiful. So yes, fake it till you make it. If it means that if you want to one day own a Mercedes Benz or own one of your favorite cars, whatever it may be, a Range Rover, go to a Range Rover dealership. Do something. Fake it till you make it. And from there, your confidence level will build up. And like I said, it's not so much about faking it or whatever it may be, but just putting yourself in the atmosphere of where you want to go will take you so much further than where you are at right now. So y'all know what time it is. It is time for this week's quote of the week. And this week's quote of the week is, Confidence is not will they like me. Confidence is I'll be fine if they don't. Let me say that again to y'all. Confidence is not will they like me. Confidence is I'll be fine if they don't. All right, I'm good, fam. We are now at the end of this week's show, and I hope this information was helpful, insightful, and everything in between. Do not forget to go ahead and subscribe to this podcast. Share this podcast on your social media, your Instagram, your Facebook, whatever it may be. Make sure you go ahead and share this podcast, leave a review, and tell your friends, your family, your boo, and your bae. Thank you guys once again so much for listening, and I will see all of you beautiful people next week. Bye-bye.